Franz Wagner got a 5-year, $225 million extension.
After shooting tour dates in the playoffs.
Franz Wagner is now about to get paid $50+ million annually. Do you think this was an overpay? That's the question.
Yeah, at the moment, yes. But only because, here's the thing. People always think overpays mean, oh my God, you think he sucks. Oh my God, you don't think he's good. No, I wouldn't say that. I like the way Philly went about Maxi's extension. We knew Maxey deserved an extension. We knew Maxey was going to earn the extension. They decided to wait until the end of the offseason of next year, which was last year, because we knew they needed an extension. Helped them get more cap. They knew who they were going to get. Then they pay him. I didn't see the issue in Orlando waiting for the Franz extension. I thought they could have waited a little bit. I didn't even think he would get that amount of money. I thought him getting more than Cade and Scotty was a little wild because I don't think all those guys are far off as players. And I think he's the third best out of those three guys that I just named. But to get all that money, I mean, that's a lot of expectations, And I feel like Orlando, they feel like they got a guy who's a Swiss Army knife, a guy who can get to the rim at will. He's really good around the rim in terms of finishing. Really good defender, long. He had a jumper his rookie year. Don't know what happened to it, but he has a nice form. It's not ugly or nothing like that. He just couldn't hit shots this year. So the extension was definitely eye-popping for me. I definitely think it's, of course, an overpay because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't really, done anything to show he deserves 225.
That's $57 million annually.
It's essentially,
if he made All-NBA.
It's $1 million less than Cade Cunningham got. So Cade got 5 years, 226.
Yeah, he hasn't done an insane amount, but you have to pay for young players to do what you think they can do. And have them earn the money. And I think Franz coming off that playoff series, he wasn't his best. But I think he has room to grow. I think he's a good player that can be a great player. So, the 270 caught me, but then when you read into it and the incentives come about, it's not crazy. A lot of these extensions are getting these young players are going to get that type of money. But at first glance, Franz coming off the playoff series, coming off a great regular season he had. Playoff series didn't play to the best he wanted to play. So, it was eye-popping, but they was going to give him the money regardless. Him and Suggs were going to get paid. So I'm definitely excited to see how he progresses.
To me, the Franz Wagner extension makes sense. But he needs to keep getting better. I think on one hand this year, everyone looks at Franz. He played poorly in the playoffs. He shot 28% from three. I think one of the biggest reasons why he shot so poorly and why it was kind of a disappointing year for him was because last summer he was playing and winning a FIBA World Championship with Germany. So he didn't have a normal offseason. And throughout the season, he looked really fatigued. A lot of his shots were short. His legs were gone. And then in time, he lost confidence because he didn't want to be a hindrance to an offense that had no other shooting. And there was a lot of expectations there. In a vacuum, Franz Wagner is worth the 30% max. You're looking at one of the elite rim pressures and finishers in the NBA. The biggest question to me is how he's going to continue to grow as a jump scorer in the mid-range area. He's only shot 41% there. And for him to become a top 25, top 20 player, someone that you can really rely on late in games to give you elite offense that a $200 million player would give you, he's got to add that third level to his game, which is still a huge project. But I think with the rim pressure, his defense, and playmaking, a 30% max is the same it was a decade ago. The only difference is it's just more money because of TV deals, which has skyrocketed the NBA salary cap.
Franz Wagner only attempted 47 mid-range shots in the regular season, and he shot 34% on those.
That doesn't include, if I'm wrong, maybe I am, shots from 4 to 14 feet. I think NBA.com's mid-range shot making and shot data, I think it's just like 15 to 20 feet.
Yeah, so 5 to 9 feet, Franz shot 38%. 10 to 14 feet, he shot 42.5% around that area. I'm looking at his left corner three, 24%, right corner three, 19%, above the break three, 29%. The shooting has to be better. And I think it's fair to say that right now, the Magic, they paid on his upside. Yeah. Because I do think to start their careers, Cade, Franz, Scotty, Alperen, outside of situation, they're all kind of similar tier of players. They all can be all-star level players. What I'm surprised by is that the Rockets have yet to give Alperen Şengün his extension.
There's a reason why they're doing that.
Yeah, they're waiting to the next offseason. Not because he doesn't deserve it, but it would, if I read correctly, help to give them more cap and to more evaluate the situation of that summer to bring in another guy.
It's the same reason why the 76ers waited to give Tyrese Maxey that 30% max because of his bird rights. I think it's something to do with his cap hold. And that cap number would then open up more flexibility once they give him that extension later on.
That makes sense. Franz Wagner joins Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard, and Tracy McGrady in scoring at least 4,000 points before their 23rd birthday. And you talked about pressure in the rim, John. Last year, he was top 10 and made layups and dunks, and he had 7 30-point games last year. So Franz Wagner is a very good player, but he has to keep improving. I think the Magic this year could be dark horses in the Eastern Conference.
I agree.
I don't want to start this early division between Paolo and Franz. I have heard people think that Franz Wagner is a better player than Paolo.
Ludicrous.
I think that's ludicrous. I think Paolo's the better player between the two, and I think it's quite clear. Franz Wagner as a second option can be very good for you. This Magic team showed that they can hold down a playoff spot. Their next step is Jalen Suggs getting better, Franz becoming a better shooter. They brought in KCP for the defense. They're going to be hell to play against on the offensive side of the basketball because they are going to be an elite level defense again, but they need to have at least a mediocre offense.
Yeah.
Their offense can't be bottom of the barrel.
Right. It was 22nd this year in offensive efficiency, and the defense, it was second last year. We know that's the foundation, but when you don't have like a pure point guard, somebody who's going to run a ton of pick and roll and create from the top of the key, with Jalen Suggs kind of operating more like a Marcus Smart watch the Celtics, they're expecting everybody else to improve internally. And I think there's only so far that can take you until you add a true star creator who can add that mass offense that they desperately needed in that 7-game series. There's the Cavaliers, and they won 47 games last year without it.
And it's a huge credit to Jamal Mosley and what he was able to do.
Oh, for sure.
With the Magic.
He's a really good coach.
No, I think for sure they're a dark horse team in the Eastern Conference. They're going to be a tough out for any team that faces them. They were a tough out for Cleveland.
7 games.
And Cleveland is a very talented team.
That was a really hard. That was impossible watch the first couple of games.
It was a defensive battle.
That was the old days, man. You love hoops. That was one of them ones.